Hey, welcome back to The Dive. Today on the show, we have one of our favorite guests joining us, Todd Bubba Horwitz. He's here today to give us his take on the Fed's next move, what's really happening in China, the drama between Twitter and Threads, the US possibly hiding alien bodies, his read on oil, wheat, soybeans, and corn, where he sees gold and silver heading, and make sure to stick around to the end to hear what themes he's watching in the markets for the rest of the year. Hey, Bubba, welcome back to The Dive. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Always great to be with you, Cassandra. It's a pleasure.
The pleasure's all mine. Okay, so Bubba, the Federal Reserve raised its benchmark interest rate by 25 basis points, the highest level in 22 years. Do you think that the Fed is done? Looking back, do you still think that they were too slow to react? What's your read here?
Well, I think the Feds are idiots. So that's number one. Number two, they're not done. And as far as I'm concerned, they're going to get the 10-year notes up to 6%. Inflation is nowhere done. You know, we can talk about the inflation bill, that the Biden $739 billion cost reduction act, which is all garbage. We can talk about it all. In the meantime, Americans are still paying way too much for everything that they do. And inflation, even at 3%, which is what they're admitting to, which is not accurate, it's still not anywhere near their benchmark of 2%, which again is more what they're trying to get to. But again, they're going about it all backwards. And although they say there's no recession, I think if you have to ask the average American, they would say they're in a recession.
Now, recently, there's been a series of negative economic data from China. How closely are you following China's economy?
I don't listen to anything that comes out of China because you don't know if it's real or if it's Memorex, right? You don't know if it's false or true. I mean, you can't get a good read out of China, and why would they give good numbers? They don't have to. So, our numbers here are suspect enough, let alone trying to listen to what they say in China, who has no obligation to report accuracy.
Changing gears here, we have to ask you about all the drama over at Twitter. We have Zuckerberg creating his own version called Threads, and now Elon changing the name of Twitter to X. Do you think that Twitter or X is heading in a good direction?
I don't think any of the social media is heading in a good direction. I think it's bad. I don't know why he would change the whole story. In fact, it's funny. I noticed it's on my phone, and instead of the Twitter bird, now there's a big X on my phone, which is good because my son is Xander with an X. So, but I don't think he's getting the right direction. I think he had the right ideas. I love Elon Musk. I think he's great. But this, to me, seems a little bit suspect of what he's trying to do here.
Now, another headline all over the news yesterday is that the US may be holding on to alien bodies. We have to get your thoughts on this.
No, I don't know. I think I'm an alien body, so I don't know. Could it be? Is it possible? Of course it is. I mean, I don't know, right? We don't know if there's life on other planets. We don't know what's going on. Are they holding alien bodies? I think it's a bunch of nonsense either way. But if they are, great. If they're not, I don't really care. They're probably holding it right next to the gold that's supposed to be in Fort Knox.
Okay, so let's move on and talk about commodities. Due to headlines out of the Black Sea, wheat, corn, and soybean prices have been rising. Do you think that this momentum will continue?
Well, I've been wrong on wheat and corn and soybeans for a while here. I thought they were going to go higher, and of course they did not. They actually went down and made some lows. Now, we've had over the last week, they've been extremely volatile. In fact, today they've been very volatile, going back and forth between positive and negative. I do think that there's a big market coming. I do think they're going higher, but it's very interesting. And the trade actions have been very tough because volumes have been very light and very low. But I think we're at a point where if farmers don't get higher prices, they're not going to plant, certainly not next year, because, again, they're working on a very skinny budget now because of the inflation and the cost to produce versus the cost to sell it.
Do you think that this will likely mirror across the energy industry as well?
Energy has been another issue, right? I think the last time we were together, I told you Saudi Arabia was going to cut production, and not only did they do it once, they did it twice. Yet oil until now has really struggled, which shows you how slow the economy is. I think that you're going to see, as long as Biden continues to not produce our own oil here, as long as we continue to struggle, oil prices are going higher. And I would not be surprised if they make the $100 level before the year is over.
So would you say this is a good buying opportunity?
I would. I would think that oil is a very good buy here. I actually believe all the commodities, or most of them, are pretty good buys in these levels here, because I do expect a bigger move, and I do think that even though equities have been very strong, I think they'll get weak, and that in the first place, new money goes if they come out of equities is usually into the commodity market.
Okay, now Bubba, we also have to ask you about gold. You mentioned in one of our interviews in the past that you see gold reaching new all-time highs in the near future. Do you still have the same sentiment?
Well, it did since we last chatted, and it failed. I do see it going higher. I would say, maybe 22, 23, 2400 before the year's over. I think that silver will be up there as well. Silver, I think, will get into the 30s. I think that there's a big reason to believe it. Gold is going higher, and I think we're going to see more of it. You're having more states here, and of course the BRICS nations trying to use gold as a backing against currency. So all of a sudden that even brings more value to the precious metal.
Okay, one last question for you here, Bubba. What are the key themes you're watching in the markets over the remainder of the year?
I don't understand why the markets are higher. I'm looking at this as the greed. I call it the greed factor. 5 years ago, if I'd have told you I can give you a CD for 5.5%, you'd have taken it in 2 seconds. Nobody wants it anymore. It's like it's not enough. So to me, the entire rally is based on retail trade only. I believe that the bigger investors, the big banks, are waiting to hammer these markets, and they're allowing the retail investor to get sucked in, buying into this garbage, because the economy does not really support the market. But at the end of the day, you can't fight the tape. And today, I'm still long. But again, I know in my mind that there's a big meltdown coming, and that's what I'm watching, because the valuations don't make sense. The phony earnings don't make sense. So that's really where I'm focused and watching, and that along with the commodity markets.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, Todd, and sharing your expertise with us. It's always great to get to talk to you.
It is a pleasure to always be with you, Cassandra.
Thank you so much for watching today. We will be back with another video like this. So if you like this one, be sure to hit that subscribe button below me there so you don't miss out on the next one. Bye.